Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Deluxe class Kickback. And out of the first wave of Deluxe offerings, I think this is definitely the one to look out for as far as the Deluxe class Insecticon, or just an Insecticon in general goes. This is probably the best version of Kickback that we've ever seen from Hasbro and Takara, and I'd say that along with Dragstrip, these are probably some of the best figures out of Legacy as a whole. Now, getting stuck straight here into the details, I do believe this is in fact our first Deluxe offering for an Insecticon across the entire board. I personally can't remember getting a decently sized version of this character up until now, and I've got to be honest and say it's a really nice looking figure, and actually makes me super excited for the other two that of course they'll undoubtedly produce in the future. You can see that as far as that head sculpt is concerned, very nicely done. Of course, we've got those massive almost yellow antennas here at the top. These have been cast out of a slightly more pliable PVC material, but in terms of the paintwork for the face, that there just looks wicked. I really love the facial expression they've given this guy. You can see the metallic silver as well as the red visor, and I absolutely love the G1 homage here with the torso. You can see how we've got this transparent, almost yellowish plastic with some really nice silver detailings underneath. Sadly, this doesn't in fact actually open like the original G1 toy. Initially, I did think it would, especially considering that we've obviously got a pin here, but you can see how it is clasped via these transparent tabs, and there is just no way at all, at least that I have found, in order to open this. But you can see really nice metallic blue highlights going on here for this section. One thing I will mention, however, is that Kickback has got wings for days. You can see that these are massive. Now, when I first saw some of the promo images of this guy, I did originally believe they were slightly too big. However, having him in hand, I actually think the proportions are pretty spot on to the animation. You can see we've got some really awesome texture detail, of course, a carryover from some of the realistic textures that we saw from Transformers Kingdom. So I think these, for the most part, have actually turned out really nicely. Maybe would have been pretty cool to have seen a slight yellow tint applied to these, but other than that, I think they look pretty damn cool. As we take a look here at the arms, you can see the proportions for the most part appear to be pretty nice. We've got this wicked Decepticon purple going on for the forearms. I really love the way that's turned out, and we do get a surprising amount of sculpt work going on here for the forearm as well as for the fingers and thumbs. And then as we just spin our attention down to the lower section, surprisingly, considering this is a Legacy Deluxe figure, the hollowness actually isn't that bad at all. We get some waffling going on here for the inside of the thighs, but other than that, this guy is pretty chock-a-block. You can see here for the thighs, we've got some nice looking sculpt work going on, especially here for the outer section, and I really love the G1 homage here to the design of the leg. In particular would be where the paint accents lay. So you can see we've got some yellow here, some red there, and of course the purple toes. And as we just spin our attention to the back, he does in fact actually clean up pretty damn nicely. Now, in regards to articulation, once again, not only is this the best looking version of Kickback I think we've ever seen officially, but it's undoubtedly the best articulated version. So here at the head, it is on a ball joint. This can look up and down ever so slightly, tilt side to side, and can of course rotate left to right. These antennas for transformation can also hinge back and forth, so depending on how you wish to display this guy, you can in fact actually lower or raise these. We get a fantastic range of motion here out of the shoulders, which can rotate the full 360. Hinge joint here out to the side, as well as a rotation here at the bicep. And due to transformation, the elbow cut can look slightly strange at certain angles, although personally I don't really have much of an issue with it. But you can see it can bend way past 90 only on a single hinge joint. Sadly, no form of wrist rotation. Due to transformation, the wings here can be risen or lowered to your own personal preference. We do in fact get a full waist rotation, which as always is excellent to see. The legs can kick forwards that far, as well as back to that far, out to the sides, rotation at the thigh, as well as a 90-degree bend there at the knee. And then of course, finally, we get this really nice ankle rocker pivot, which can in fact actually bend to a fantastic degree. And due to transformation, you can in fact also tilt the toe up and down. So in all design-wise, as well as articulation, I really do think this guy's turned out for the most part really damn nice. Now, in regards to accessories, of course, we get this really awesome G1 inspired blaster, completely covered in paint. So we've got some silver here, as well as this wicked metallic purple. I think that looks really cool. We've got some nice details of what appear to be the almost ammo clips here on the underside, which is really nice. And then, of course, the actual nozzle has indeed got some sculpt work. If you didn't wish to display it here in the hands, we can, in fact, spin our attention to the back, and it will indeed just store away really nicely there. And then in terms of additional accessories, considering this line is giving us this almost Energon-infused theme, we of course do get some Energon-infused blades here for Kickback. These are actually really cool. You can see completely cast out of transparent plastic, and then it appears as if though they've been given this almost purple dye treatment. It actually looks really nice in person, so I don't think these look too bad at all. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is that they cannot combine so that they appear symmetrical. In order to combine them, they kind of have to be slightly offset, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. I would have much rather had them combined in a symmetrical way so that it would have appeared to be a massive lump of perhaps Energon, but you can peg these here into either of the figure's fists. To be honest with you, these are accessories that I'm 9 times out of 10 never going to display with Kickback, but I can imagine there are some out there that will in fact actually really like the way these look, and if you didn't want them actually implemented into the fists, we can simply take them, and we've got some slots going on here for the wings. Granted, this is mainly designed for the actual insect mode, but you can in fact actually just port them there onto the wings. And to be honest, that actually isn't a bad look for Kickback at all. And turning to a very quick comparison, unfortunately I don't indeed actually own any of the previous versions of the Insecticon, so I thought I would just bring out 2 of the most commonly owned molds, that being the Leader Class Siege Ultra Magnus and the Siege Voyager Megatron. And you can see that as far as the Deluxe standard is concerned, I actually think is a pretty decent scale. And so, turning to transformation, it is in fact relatively straightforward. So to begin with, you're going to want to take the head, rotate it so that the front is facing the back. We can take these antennas and just slightly set them back like so. Flip your attention here to the back of Kickback and basically just pull out this hidden panel, which will conceal the majority of the robot mode face sculpt. I actually thought that was a really nice touch. We can then take the insect wings and just pull those back like so. And then in regards to the transformation of the arms, very, very easy. So we just take the shoulders, position it like so, take the elbow joint, hinge that to the back, and flip the fist forward, which will once again expose some of the insect legs. And here with this one, it will literally just soft ratchet there into place. Come to this side and repeat the same process. So flip the fist inwards, flip this section forwards, and the hind legs once again are actually relatively straightforward. So in regard to the toes, we just flip them in, take here at the knee, bend forward until it does soft ratchet there into place. The same will apply here for this side, and then we can just flip out this section here, rotate the insect foot around, and of course come to this side and repeat the exact same process. And there we have Legacy Kickback fully transformed up into, I imagine, his Cybertronian Grasshopper alt mode. As far as G1 standards are concerned, this is incredibly accurate, and I actually think they've done a pretty good damn job. You can see that in regards to the detail of the head, essentially is the exact same as the bot mode, but of course these antennas now become the almost eyes, I imagine, of the Grasshopper, and I definitely think it resembles that. You can see we've got these massive bulbous yellow sections here on the side with these tiny little feelers at the top. We've once again got that fantastic wing texture detail that we took a look at in the robot mode. And then in regard to the itty bitty little tiny insect legs here, I actually once again think they've been sculpted pretty nicely. In particular would be in regards to the hind legs. But as far as an actual transformation goes, it's very simplistic. It literally is just Kickback with his head reversed, and of course a few components just basically taken from the back of the legs. But definitely I actually think it is pretty accurate to how it appeared in G1. Now in regards to some of the weapon implementation, once again we just take this blaster and peg this here onto the underside. So I think that does in fact actually store pretty nicely, and as showcased in robot mode, we can take these and just basically tab them into the side of the wings just like so. And of course repeat the same process here for this side, so just snap that there into place. And there we have Legacy Kickback with all of the weapons fully integrated within the insect mode. And so some final thoughts for the Transformers Legacy Deluxe class Insecticon Kickback. Overall, this is a really nice release. I think that in regards to robot mode and insect mode, it looks very accurate to how he appeared in the original G1 series. Undoubtedly, at least in my opinion, the best official version that we've ever seen for either an Insecticon or Kickback as a whole. I really do think this is one of the better figures out there, and it really does make me anticipate the next 2 that of course we'll undoubtedly see in the future. As I mentioned at the beginning of this review, I definitely think that him and Dragstrip are the highlights out of Legacy, at least as far as the first wave of Deluxes are concerned, and I do hope that some of the future waves are as good as these 2 characters, as I definitely think this is almost an evolution of what we saw from the War for Cybertron trilogy, whereas RC and Skeets sadly felt like a step in the wrong direction. These guys definitely do feel contemporary with what we've expected from some of the more modern Deluxe figures, and just overall it's a really fun figure. I think the transformation is incredibly simplistic yet rather effective. It definitely resembles what we saw from the original G1 series. Accessory wise, I love the G1-esque blaster. Personally, whilst I do find those Energon infused blades to be slightly pointless, they are a nice inclusion, but honestly I would have rather had seen them scrapped to make way for maybe some more engineering in the actual transformation, or maybe just some paint overall, maybe a metallic paint for those actual insect legs. But other than that, this is a really cool figure, and I would definitely recommend him if you're a fan of the Insecticons, and of course thoughts of the Decepticons from the original G1 series. With all that being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me in saying that this is probably the best G1 version of Kickback that we've ever seen from Hasbro and Takara? At least in my opinion, I think it absolutely obliterates the versions that we saw from Power of the Primes. Personally, I don't in fact actually own them within the collection, so I can't really give you a spot-on answer to that, but I do think that just by judging from some of the images I've seen online, this guy is leaps and bounds better. I would really love to know what you guys also thought of the review, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.